We've got Jeff Smith with Crash Avenue Publicity here with us to give us a talk about what he does and talk about the little music scene. So Jeff, to get it started, would you just tell us exactly what you do?
Yeah, I'm a publicist, so I do a lot of independent record release and tour press throughout the United States. And then I also manage Ben Solee, which a lot of you may be already familiar with. And I manage Andy Rossi, who's on 4AD, part of Beggars Group, stuff like that.
And it was Hank's suggestion to ask, do you only represent people who play cello?
No, but I'm beginning to get this rap of like the weird stringed instruments. So it's like Annie is a violist who beats the hell out of her viola, and then Ben does the cello thing. So if I'm going to manage someone else, it's got to be like a band or someone that plays a normal instrument. Or I could just go up to Andrew Bird and be like, dude, I'm going to corner the market. You need to come hang out with me or something.
Yeah, you need Andrew Bird. That would be a bad
I would actually think about doing that.
Well, how did you get into the business? What's your background?
Back in like 96, 97, that range, I moved to Nashville once I graduated college. And the very first band I joined, we got signed to Mercury Records, did the whole touring thing. I mean, we toured our ass off for months and months and months.
What was the name of the band?
Oh, the name of the band was
everybody's going to look it up.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think you can find anything on it anyway. It was called the Evinrudes. Funny thing, I found a cutout of the record at Ear Ecstasy for $4.99. That's how awesome it was. So we were on Mercury. As every VH1 behind the music thing goes, everything went bad. I literally walked out of our management office, got a U-Haul, put it on the back of my truck, threw my entire apartment into the U-Haul, and moved to Louisville, February of '98. And since then, I've been here. I got away from it for a bit, but then started Label X with Todd Smith and Patsy Summershine, and found out that I don't play well with others, and left that for after I think it was a year and a half or so, and then just started Crash Avenue Publicity up, and we're in our 5th year right now. So
how would you describe your publicity company compared to other publicity companies? I mean, because I have no clue. Are they mostly operating like you, or are there these huge mega firms?
There's difference. I mean, there's companies like Press Here and Girly Action and 230 that are based out of New York that deal with major releases within like the indie rock world and stuff like that. But we do the same job they do. We just aren't as established as they are because they've been around for several years and have done major records, and we're just building up to that point. Like the biggest record we've done so far is Superdrag's new release, which is Industry Giants, but and we knocked it out. Like go Google that record up and there's a ton of press on it. And I would compare that work that I've done on that record to anyone's work across the board that anyone else does. It's like we can do the late night television, we can do the print media, we can do the new media, all that stuff. It's just, for me, it's getting a client that it's warranted to do those things. And for them, for the bigger companies, it's like they've got a plethora of those kind of clients. They just got to pick and choose what to do and how that's going to work into their schedules. So we're still fighting a little underdog fight.
Being the underdog and more of a not independent publishing company, is the ultimate purpose for all publicity guys to get the band into the mainstream?
No. My theory is I want to contribute to building an audience, and I don't think that necessarily means mainstream media. Getting someone like Bruce Warren at Some Velvet Blog to write about a band, or like you guys, even within the local music scene, that thing is important to me because that's helping to develop an audience because there's a lot of traffic going into those two different situations. For example, just because of management, it's easy to talk about. Like Ben, when he was on Jimmy Kimmel's show, right? That's a big step for Ben, integrity-wise, and people acknowledging him on a non-regional level. But to be honest with you, it didn't really do anything. It didn't help to break anything into the mainstream. We had a bunch of website bumps, and that was about it. Like, we sold more records 2 weeks before that when nothing was going on than we did the week that he was on Kimmel. So some of those kind of instances where people put a lot of weight on like television or things that they think that will break bands doesn't really. It's not really the case because now everything's going to new media. I mean, it's all about seeing, like, you know, when you're online at work and you're not working like most people do and you're just checking out new music and stuff like that, it's easy to click through really fast and go find something and download it than it is to go, oh, I saw that on TV last night, I gotta go to Your Ecstasy, I gotta pick up that record. Which sucks for Your Ecstasy, but, you know, it kind of is what it is. It's like, yeah, sorry.
No.
I can ramble
No,
about that stuff, sorry.
Is there, do bands come to you, or do you seek out bands, or how does that work?
Both. I'm in the position where I'm not established enough as a publicist, even though, like I said, I would put my work up against anyone's. I'm not established enough or known enough outside of a certain region for people to come to me just directly. If I hear something cool or find something new, I'll, you know, shoot an email and say, hey, you know, I really like this. You have something new coming out anytime soon, let me know. You know, I'm not out there like going through MySpace trying to find bands because we're busy enough to keep that going. But, you know, just like today I had 2 different management companies call me about upcoming projects that were just out of the blue. So I'm like half and half on it. I mean, it's literally getting to the point where this guy with I'm blanking on the record label, but his name is Ed Hale, and he's got a solo record coming out. But he also owns this label, and he had thought about calling me and didn't, and talked to another couple of publicists. But then he was talking to a few people in New York, and said that he was thinking about calling me, and they all knew who I was, and was like, dude, you need to call this dude, even though he's in Kentucky, he can knock it out as well as these other cats can. And that made me feel better because the week prior, I literally had this management company in Miami go, I know you can do the job, we feel it, you're a cool dude, but you're not in New York, we'd rather have somebody in New York.
You need to be in a taller building.
And I'm just like, dude, you know, I mean, at that point, I almost said something I shouldn't have said, which is like a big, you know, whatever. But it's like half that stuff too, so it kind of is what it is. It doesn't really bother me that much.
Just for people who are watching that have their own band, how do they know that they're ready to have a publisher or publicist?
Publicist?
Yeah.
Man, there's a line. You got to do a lot of work yourself before you ever come up, you know, it sounds a little egotistical, before you come up to a publicist as a whole, because, you know, just locally within Louisville, like Louisville's a great market to talk about and a great market to be in because there's only so many people within the music media, or the media that handles music, and you can get a pretty firm grasp on that pretty easily. You know, it's like there's the Leo and Velocity, and their mastheads there. You can reach out to Matt. You can reach out to the few people that work the music at Velocity and within Gannett. And if it's good, you'll make some headway at some point. Like, paying me my rate to do a record, and if no one even knows you in your hometown, then you're not going to get a lot of coverage unless your record is just freaking fantastic. So there has to be a lot of work you have to do. And you really got to establish yourself. I've stopped, not completely, but I've stopped taking on bands that aren't touring hard. You know, it's like, if you're going to put out a record and you don't have like 4, 5, 6 weeks worth of tour dates, those tour dates help me establish you within print and blogs and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just, there has to be a lot of establishment going on before you can come up and grab somebody to really work it.
All right, before we sign off, in about 15 seconds, what sets Crash Avenue off from other publicity companies?
I keep a very, very small roster. Just so I come from an old school mentality where it's like I want to work as hard for each and every person the same way. So I don't want to take on so much that I can't do my due diligence with each and every band that I put on, because it'd be really easy to go, okay, this is the best record, so I'm going to hit that harder. You know, it's like I'll only work like 5 or 6 records at a time over like a 4-month period. So it's like it allows me the space to kind of get as much out of them as I possibly can.
Okay. Jeff here. This has been a 6-Pack with. See ya.
See ya.